Alright, apparently I'm on. Hi everybody. I'm Valyssa. I'm going to be running F-Zero GX. I'm going to be doing all tracks in time attack mode. The reason I'm doing time attack mode is because you get infinite tries. That's one thing. And you get to pick a machine for every track. If you do Grand Prix mode, you only get to do one. So yeah, there were some great runs yesterday. I hope to contribute to 2 runs today. I've been out of this game for a while, so I'm gonna do my best to show up some cool stuff. Thank you for the good luck. So as you can see, I don't have a lot unlocked. This is not actually my main file that I used to run on. My memory card got corrupted that had all my replays. Still had my main save, but I was like, whatever. I'm technically saving time by not having a vehicle that's in between here, so that's good. And only one memory card. This is all I need, so... Let me just get started. I'm gonna be using some unconventional machine choices because I don't like Quickstar or Black Bull. I think they're very hard to handle for me. And I think I'll have better luck with Gallant and Fat Shark and some small variations. Alright, I guess we'll just get started then. I'll calm myself down even though I am in charge of the timer. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so my memory card got corrupted. It was a third-party one. It was actually decent. I think it was Piranha was the brand, which should be pretty good. But anyway, here we are. I don't mind starting over because I want to see how far I can get just using Gallant's starter, which is this vehicle that I'm using right now. So to get things started, you'll see some unconventional driving from me. We don't do a lot of driving in a straight line with this machine. So, kind of starting things off simple, quick turning. This right here is quick turning. So you kind of get yourself in a weakened grip state, and that allows you to do a strafe turn, which then allows you to go a lot sharper than you would if you were just using a stick or strafe turning. It's pretty great. We use it like all over the place. So the next thing is boosting. If you're familiar with F-Zero, you should know your health bar is also your boost meter. As you can see in the top right, I'm replenishing it by driving over that colored plate. And then there's also dash plates, which allow you to have a different kind of boost. Thank you for the good luck. And those 2 boosts can actually stack. You can have a energy boost going as well as a dash plate boost. So all of these are going to be top 10s. I'm going to be losing like so much time to saving the scores, but whatever. I just hope to show up some cool stuff. That's really all that matters. So yeah, only 1 input there instead of 2. That's why I'm doing this. Not really, but you know, it's all good. So Fat Shark is the other main vehicle. You'll see I should refer to them as machines because that's what the games call them even. This thing is kind of broken. Don Genie, the driver, is rich as fuck, so he just decided to buy the most overpowered F-Zero machine he possibly could. And the reason it's so overpowered is because it has the strongest boost in the game. It's also long as heck. I'll see if I can do something cool here. I kind of missed that. Nah, okay. No jump lap 1. I'll see if I can do it next. But yeah. Fat Shark gets by far the most benefit out of hitting these dash plates right here. Ideally, I would hit them on the side, which I should go into later. For now, I'm gonna try to get this jump to work. If you go fast enough, you'll lift off. And you want to do that in such a way that you can also land back on the track, preferably with like a small dive to gain some more speed. We'll go for it once more. Well, not go for it once more, because I hit the wall. So yeah, just driving normally. And I kind of fucked up the setup for the rail slide. So, no rail slide. All good. You'll see plenty of rail slides. Do not worry. I'm only slightly rusty. But yeah. So for that jump to work, you kind of want to already be turning to the left as you lift off. But when exactly you lift off depends on your position, your speed. It's kind of tricky. So normal people would use Black Bull here, or... I think Quickstar is also a choice. I go Gallant Star. Gallant Star just handles so much nicer. So, I've been talking about Quickstar, Gallant Star. Those are custom machines. As you can see, they're all in the left column. You can use one of 25 cockpit parts, 25 body parts, and 25 boosters to basically get your own custom-made machine. Titan G4, the booster, is by far the best choice for almost every circumstance except for snaking. Snaking is something we'll get into later. Kind of hope to show it off if the run goes well and have some time left. Although admittedly the run would have to go pretty terribly for me to not have any time left. So as you can see, I'm spamming this weird move. It's called a side attack, which makes these two orbs rotate around you. You can do them once every 8 frames. And Gallant Star is pretty heavy, so that means it gets some pretty nice speed boost from it. So whenever we're just like normally making a shallow turn, we always want to be doing side attacks. And I guess next up I should go into MTS, which is this drifting technique that I do right here, and hopefully doesn't ram me into the wall. So you can strafe in this game. It basically just like adds speed to what you're doing. Like I can be going in a straight line, press R, and then I'm going slightly to the right. We want that momentum to be going in the same direction that we are. So we break our grip, face to the side, and then strafe forward. And combined with MT, that gives you crazy speeds. If you don't do MT, it's still kind of cool, but MT is what makes it work. MT, of course, is momentum throttle. It's where you turn off the engine. And you might think, why would you do that? That's because it's faster. Because why else would you do it? For some reason, when you have your engine off above a certain speed, you'll actually... That's not a real PB, by the way. That's just the different save. If you're above a certain speed, the game wants to push you to whatever your top speed is. So if you're going at 2000 km per hour, it wants to decelerate you to your top speed a lot faster than if you were only going 1300. So there's what we call the MT point. If you're above that value, you want to let go of the accelerator to not slow down as quickly. Ideally, you would do it in between boosts as well, because there is some time in between boosts where you cannot boost again. How long that period of time is differs per machine. Gallant is pretty lenient on that. It doesn't have a lot of downtime. Fat Shark, on the other hand, is a lot harder to time, because that period is a bit longer, and also it has a long boost, so it's kind of harder to keep a rhythm. But yeah, long MT through the spiral, it's freaking great. When you leave an MTS, you do lose some speed, which is always unfortunate, so that's why you don't see us doing them all over the place. Whenever there's a wall that curves the same way that we're trying to turn, we might do a little rail slide, as you saw there, because then we don't have to waste speed trying to face normal again. This track is really weird to MTS on because it has these little bumps. Makes it absolutely a nightmare to MTS chain. Almost forgot what strat I was doing. On tab 2, we don't do an MTS, we just do a long quick turn while boosting. Because that gains us a lot of speed as well, and we kind of build speed into the next part as opposed to a burst of speed and then losing it after. So one way you can minimize the speed loss from an MTS, or from exiting an MTS rather, is to do side attacks. So that's usually the preferred way to exit MTSs with this machine. There's some cases where I might opt to do something else. It's kind of depends on circumstances, somewhat personal preference too. I usually like to go for side attacks when there's a lot of space, or just a quick turn right there. And hopefully I can save this. I cannot. Okay. If you go too fast there, you'll lift off. You can use that to get a shift boost, that's why I was not slowing down too much. Unfortunately, that's usually very hard to salvage, because you're like upside down, can't really get back to the track. You will have noticed that I landed back on the track, but I didn't land back on one of the active checkpoints. I actually landed too far ahead. And if you skip too many checkpoints, then you'll explode while hitting the ground. It's this game's way of ensuring you don't do massive shortcuts. That being said, it's still possible to do massive shortcuts. But that requires some other trickery. Kinda similar to Mario Kart Wii. Like if you get your checkpoint stuck at the start of the lap, and then you circle around. You can sometimes just finish a lap. I'll see if I can show that off after, if we have time. But yeah, this is the max speed category. We don't do space flying, we don't do snaking. What max speed means is, before a race you can set your acceleration settings. Do you want to accelerate quickly and have a lower top speed, or do you want a higher top speed with lower acceleration? You're pretty much always want to go full top speed, because acceleration being low also means you decelerate slower. So if you manage to build speed, it's easier to maintain that. So on lap 2 we don't have enough energy to do another long boost quick turn. Yike. Sometimes collision can get a bit crazy. Okay, that one was just me. If you're playing Grand Prix mode, if you bump into other vehicles, you might also get some crazy bounces going on. Okay, let's try not to die, because I'm at 0 energy. You can keep boosting until all your energy is gone. And then any kind of small damage, like from tapping a wall or hitting a laser or some other environmental... anything else that does damage in the environment can just one-shot you. So this is by far a Fat Shark track. There's not really any debates. There's a lot of boosters, so Fat Shark gets the advantage. Yeah, if you're at 0 energy, like anything will kill you. The underside of the track also does damage, so if you manage to just scrape that as you're like hitting the wall, yeah, you're gonna die. It's pretty unfortunate. So yeah, this is a lot of people's favorite track. It's got a banging soundtrack. Very impressive at a high level, because you can do crazy stuff on that dive, because you can get a shift boost before. Shift boost you'll see plenty later on. I would say Ruby Cup is probably my weakest cup in terms of tracks. Yeah, as you can see, people are a fan of multiplex. It just really tests your skills in like every aspect. I actually meant to hit that jump, but whatever. So hopefully I can get the shift boost right here. Nope. But at least I get the dive. So if you empty up that slope, you can set up a dive over that platform so that you never even touch it. It's really nice. And here just a chain of dash plates. It's really good for getting speed. I kind of didn't even mention it, but on lap 1 I did some mine boosts. I ran into some mines and then they exploded behind me and gave me speed. It's a kind of common trend in this run, or in this game in general, to take damage to go faster. Missed the shift boost again, that's alright. So you want to maximize how much energy you get there. It's kind of hard because the energy regen pit also curves a bit. It's tricky to stay on it, especially if you do get the shift boost and you go super fast. But yeah. Epic rail slide. I'm absolutely a wreck when it comes to rail slides. So 157 is not actually a good time. But let's pretend that it is. So that's Ruby Cup. Ruby Cup, like I said, not my favorite. Any normal person would use Quickstar here. Quickstar has insane MTSing. Like actually insane. I don't like it. I'm gonna use Gallant. RTA wise, it would actually probably be better to use Fat Shark, because you have to load the garage data to get access to your custom machines. So if using Fat Shark is only like 2 seconds slower than any of the custom vehicles, you kind of just want to use Fat Shark. If you have 2 memory cards, it'll load them both, which makes it take even longer. Depending on what kind of memory card you have, it might also be slower or faster. So yeah, a lot of really nice turns to MTS. And even when you're not turning, you can still MTS chain, so yeah, on this track, quick start kind of rules. That's a very tricky turn. And right there, we tried to maximize our energy regen while also hitting the first and the last booster. Yeah, that's really not rare for me to hit that. What was I gonna say? Completely lost my train of thought, but that's okay. Impressive new record. Actually, not a bad time. I'm happy to get sub 1 with Gallant. Yike. Okay, I went back into the settings instead of selecting a track, which means I have to confirm my settings. And almost went into it again. But we should go to select track. Next up, this is by far a Gallant track, because it has a side attack dives. A side attack dive. Only one. Yeah, Gallant being heavy and gaining a lot of speed from side attacks just makes Gallant a really good choice here. It can also do a little float to extend the side attack dive. It can side attack turn all these turns. It's kind of just great. Fat Shark really just doesn't compare on this track. So yeah, you kind of just want to spam side attacks. It's hard to have clean driving when you're side attack turning, but that's okay. So the nice thing about those side attack turns is that they actually leave you with a bit more speed than you started them with, which allows you to go for a nice MTS after. Okay, scary, very scary. If you go completely level, you can extend your dive without losing a lot of speed. If you angle yourself with the nose too far upward, you'll lose speed very fast, and then you might just plummet like a brick. Kinda scary. I'm glad I managed to make it back onto the track. So now that we're going faster, we can MTS that, because our turning circle is just a lot nicer. Yeah, just a very fast track, flows very well. I like it. I like it a lot. My dives are not on point today, but that's okay. That's kind of what it's supposed to look like. Ideally, you would hit that dash plate, though. So yeah, kind of trying to MT in between these boosts to minimize speed loss in the time that I can't start a new boost. I'm not going as fast now, so I can't do the full turn. Anyway, this game is fun. It's fast, very skillful. Like, the skill ceiling is actually just non-existent, pretty much. If you've ever seen a TAS of this, yeah, good luck getting anywhere close to that. TASes are bonkers, because they can get shift boosts everywhere. Speaking of shift boosts, that's a shift boost right there. Also, that's a good rail slide. So, like I said, an MTS means you want to face to the side so that you're strafing forward. Usually you lose a lot of time from exiting the MTS, because you have to turn. Turning loses you some speed, and you've let off the accelerator for a bit, so generally you'll exit an MTS at a lower speed. You might mitigate that with side attacks, anyway. Rails don't inherently slow you down, so we can just have a perfect MTS up against a rail. We call it an MTRS, Momentum Turbo Rail Slide. Very, very logical. So yeah, at the end of almost every track we want to do that, really. What I'm doing here is not MTSing, I'm TSing. I'm not MTing. And that's because a turbo slide is a lot easier to control on these weird bumps. I completely dodged that mine. That's okay. Yeah, these slopes just ruin you. They really, really ruin you. So, when you have the accelerator held, you don't get those insane speeds during MTSs. But they still allow you to get some speed, they allow you to be facing sideways so you can do some side attacks. It's still very often a good choice. So yeah, nice little mind boost there into a very fast MTS, which I did not control well. This track is just kind of messy, like any track that has a lot of slopes, especially when they're sideways like that, it's just rough. Also, we're upside down right now, so if we were to lift off from the track, we're goodbye. We're fallen. Yeah, tried to do some MTS chaining. Doesn't work out usually, so TS chaining is really nice. That's not an MTRS, that's what happens when you don't break your grip. Alright, next track. Not that exciting. It's a pipe. It's a very long pipe. It's called Long Pipe. Pipes are kind of weird. They have very different physics. If you try to do an MTS in a pipe, you'll just find that you lose a lot of speed. Like, you're constantly going up a slope if you're facing to the side, and that's generally just a good way to lose a lot of speed. A good category to learn for a beginner, what I would recommend, and how I and most people got started, is to just do individual level speedruns. Pick a track that you like, just try to set a good time on it. I do recommend you start with max speed. Max speed really requires you to learn the basics. Once again, max speed means you set the accelerator all the way to the right so that you have lower acceleration but higher top speed, and that's just generally better for maintaining speed and generally faster. Some people start with snaking, also very valid. Snaking is a whole different skill set. Still requires you to know the basics, but yeah. It's whatever you want to do, really. I think max speed is like closest to normal driving, so it's kind of nice to start with, if you've already played the game a bunch. Like, how you want to get started is like, unlock Fat Shark, beat Chapter 4 in very hard mode, and kind of just get a feel for it, you know? Just use it on various tracks, go fast, try to incorporate some of the tech. Like, I would say start with just MT, and also quick turning. Quick turning is pretty much essential for Fat Shark. They didn't make this thing completely overpowered, it's just that we mitigate its weak point, which is that it loses a lot of speed when turning. By quick turning. Quick turning makes you lose a lot less speed while turning. So you'll see in Grand Prix mode, Fat Shark is usually still at the front, but it's not completely unbeatable. And that's because the CPU just stick turns, I guess. Doesn't handle the speed quite as well. I want to avoid those rotating pillars, because you'll just bunk up against them and lose all your speed. It's not a great experience. That little part of the pipe is very weird. Kinda just likes to throw you all over the place. If I hit a wall now, I'm dead, so let's not do that. Cool. How hard are the tech on your hands? Most of them, not at all. What can be rough on the hands is MTS chaining. You can maybe even hear my controller when I'm doing it, because it involves a lot of shoulder buttons. As you know, GameCube shoulder buttons, they're not the softest thing to press, but you need that analog feel, so it is still the best controller for the job. Snaking hella hurts your hands. Similar to MTS chaining, I would say they both really hurt your hands. Especially if you have a very tight grip. You want to relax your hands as much as possible. So yeah, snaking is its own category because people are like, I don't want to get arthritis in a couple years. Which is fair. Serial gaps, I like this track. It's absolutely bonkers. Like I said, you can't skip entire tracks because of the checkpoint system, but you can skip large portions of it. As long as you also land in between, you can do large skip into large skip. When you land, the game just checks like, hey, did you skip too much distance or too many checkpoints? If no, you're good. And then you can just keep doing that. So yeah, mind boosts to get some speed. Launch ourselves. Ooh, that's meant to land on the top there. Launch yourselves onto that top platform, because the top platform is shorter, and also you can get a nice shift boost at the end of it. Please make it. I'm not gonna make it, so I'm gonna do stalled side attacks. Very useful. Kind of just figured that out on my own. They really just allow you to float a long distance without falling too much. It's like damn near impossible to get a good run of this track. Heck. Yeah, this track is absolutely crazy, and that's why I love it. I've shown the cool stuff. I'll try to take it easy, so I can at least finish it and move on. It can be hard to set up a perfect straight line for those two mines, so here's how you drive normally. It's not very fast because there's no boosters. That part has collision, that's why I tried to like duck under it. Safe strats on this track are still pretty nuts, yeah. I'm actually gonna opt not to go for it again, but I will go for this. Ooh, okay. Slight stall to make sure I don't hit the kill plane there. You're dodging like 2 kill planes when you're doing that skip, and making sure you hit a checkpoint as well. Because otherwise you will just explode upon hitting the track. Let's go for that again, but now slightly better. So the top of that building does not have collision. It's kind of the bottom part of the building that does. Look, I like this track. I can't not show off the cool stuff, you know? I already know this is not going to be the fastest run, I just want to show cool stuff. I inputted down twice. Just saying. But yeah, zero gaps is wild. I'm kind of crazy to even be going for those strats, but that's okay. We'll go for green here, because yellow can be a bit hard to see on this track. I do like yellow fat shark. Yellow fat shark is very cool. Yeah, pipe tracks, you just want to be using fat shark. Like Gallant is not built for pipes. As I said, pipe physics can be a bit weird. They can also let you get shift boosts because you can get small liftoff. Did I explain shift boosts? I didn't. So shift boost is a thing that happens for some reason when you leave the track and come back on it in a very short time span. So, right there I lifted off, but that was too much of a lift off. But yeah, it's like only a couple frames that you want to leave the track and then you want to get back on it and be holding the accelerator. If you're not holding the accelerator, you don't get the speed. So yeah, normally you can do that on a track that doesn't have walls by just strafing off and on it. You'll see a lot of that later. In other cases you can use slopes. Because with a slope, if you go fast enough, you'll lift off. If you don't have too much speed, then you'll just land right back on it. It's kind of great. There's a lot of shift boost setups here. I don't know a lot of them though. So, there's also a thing called a double shift boost, which is where you get one shift boost and immediately get another one. It's not a single strong one, it's like 2 in a very short time span. And that's what you can get right here, if you don't fuck it up. Excuse my language. Yeah, it's very easy to mess that one up. It's pretty particular about how fast you need to be going to get the double. There is also a good setup for it, but depending on how you reach that dash plate, it can still be kind of hard. So yeah, kind of just letting go of the accelerator so I can get this shift boost right here. If you like shift boost, you'll see a lot of them in the next cup. Ooh. Pipe physics. Or should I say cylinder physics, because when you're on the outside it's a cylinder, when you're inside it's a pipe. I don't make the rules, that's how it is. I might have lost too much speed for the double. Nope. Okay, so that's the double. You'll see I instantly accelerated to like 2k. And then you want to control your speed and stay on the inside of that like curving pipe, which is kind of tricky. Once again, no energy, so if we hit anything we're dead. And a rail slide to finish it off. The only F word is F-Zero. Heck yeah. 236. Not bad. That at least beats the Staff Ghost. Staff Ghost on this track is very, very difficult, actually. Green Flint intersection, another Fat Shark track. Since my comeback, I've not been getting the double shift boost. There's also double shift boost you can get in this track. There's like a hard setup, but consistent. It's hard, okay? But if you can do one of them, you can do all of them. I'll try to show you what I mean. So we're gonna be inside of a pipe, which is gonna move in various ways. If I drive over a certain spot, I'll get a double shift boost, and then if I control the rest of my movements properly, I can keep that into all of these turns. Like, these all curve the same way, so if you get one of them, you can keep changing the shift boosts. So on lap 1 it's kind of hard, because your normal top speed is like barely enough if you hit the right spot. If you have to turn to set up to hit that spot, you're kind of losing speed, and that might make it impossible. Another thing you can do is MTS into it, because that means you'll have slightly higher speed. Tricky though, because, you know, you're MTSing in a pipe. Pipe physics don't like that. So there's generally a pretty consistent setup for the first one here, which I unfortunately did miss. Come on. Give me at least one. Come on. We have one more lap. Either way, this track is cool. It's just, if you don't get the double shift boost, you're losing so much time. It's kinda ridiculous. Anyway, there's a weird turn coming up here. If you try to take this turn normally, you'll probably lift off. You might hit a tree. Or just fly into the abyss, you know? It's tricky. If you MTS, you actually stick on the track, which makes it easier. So by doing a trick that isn't easy, you're making just navigating the track easier. Come on, give me one. It's so particular. Like, if you go too fast, you have to be more on the right. If you go too slow, you need to be more on the left. It's a very, very difficult balance. I'm kind of sad I didn't get any of them, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, MTS to stick on the track, and then even out before that rail. They're stupidly precise. They should be not that hard, because there's, you know, it sets you up for them pretty well, but it's so precise. It's still, if you miss one of them, good luck getting the rest of them. I think everybody hit that tree at the end many times. I still hit that tree sometimes. Every now and then I'm like, oh, I'm scared, I'm not gonna do the MTS, and then I just fly off. I should always do the MTS. MTS is just the way to go on that last turn. It's like, you can also MTS badly. That's the thing that's scary about it. If you MTS into the wall too hard, you'll bounce off the wall, and that's also not what you want. So yeah, it's... wow, nice. Speaking of MTSs, that was not one of them. Anyway, shift boosts. This track does not have walls at certain parts, which means we can quickly jump off and get back on to get a lot of speed. It's pretty wonderful. This track is pretty long though. I shouldn't do shift boosts on lap 3, because, you know, kind of just hovering above the abyss, tempting fate. But I might. Because that's just the kind of person I am. I take stupid risks sometimes. Yeah, so if you go too fast here, you'll lift off. If you do that in a controlled manner, you're good. You can actually get a shift boost from that lift off, which is great. If you don't though, you're kind of just dead. So, another risk you have to take. Okay. Okay. Yes. So there's 5 cups. AX cup is the last one, which you unlock if you do all the other cups on Master, if I'm not mistaken. God, I hope my voice is gonna be okay for Golden Sun later, because that's a 4-hour run. Oof, almost drifted off the left side there. So, what you saw right there, that MTS, that looked weird, right? There's a thing in this game where if you're going up a slope and you're going really fast, then collision gets kind of weird. If you're up against the wall, you don't collide with the wall until you slow down, or if you hit it at too acute of an angle. Or is that not acute? Actually the opposite. Anyway. So you can kind of just like drift along the surface, because collision is weird, okay? So whenever we're going super fast up an upslope, we might just want to MTS it. Because then you don't get sent toward the wall, and even if you do, you probably don't collide with it, as long as you're going fast enough. Ooh. Shift boosting when you're scared of shift boosting sucks. When you're confident, you can do them pretty well, but if you hesitate, you're probably actually gonna fuck them up more than if you were just going for it, you know? Like, it's so sad when you try to go for a shift boost, but you don't actually leave the track, and then you just kind of did a weird move that cost you speed, and then you pressed A because you were expecting the shift boost. It's messy. If you do shift boosts, do them confidently. Or try to. It's not easy. That's unfortunate. Nice booster. 1, 2. And weird glitchy MTS. Let's go. Let's make sure I don't go too fast here, because I'm actually entering this with more speed than usual, so I hit the brakes a bit earlier. If you lift off there, there's very little you can do to actually save yourself. Slow ending, but oh, very slow ending. Yike. Anyway. You kind of have to like turn with the wall because it's facing away from you, so you have to adjust to the left. It's kind of great. Hey Minnie, thank you. Sigma, I can't not do shift boosts in Trident. Trident is my jam. Even my safe strats include like, I don't know. How many shift boosts do I do for safe strats? 7 shift boosts. So yeah. Like 7 per lap, by the way, is what I mean. Okay, that's a nice setup for a double shift boost. It works perfectly on lap 1. On boost laps, it's a bit harder. Once again, you just lift off just enough to hit the shift boost, which then gives you perfect speed to lift off again to get another one. It's absolutely fantastic. A lot of people don't like half-pipe. I'm not a big fan of it. It's cool, but it's very difficult to do well. Especially if you're going at a high level, you might want to do some shift boosts off these sides, but like, you know, pipe physics are weird, especially half-pipe physics. It's like a super tight window to not just fall through the track. Okay, let's see if I can get this set up. There's a setup you can do for a double shift boost, which gives you the perfect speed to just do that. which you can then do another jump with, which I'm not gonna do. Because I'm not very good at it. But that jump is very cool. Very safe. Like, surprisingly. I don't want to go too fast here, because that would really mess us up right there. Yeah, Halfpipe is a track where you really have to know the game very well. Also, just always do that jump. It looks scary, because I'm hacking it up. Always do that jump, because that little weird whoosh to the right is weird. Very good way to lose time, that one. Okay. Didn't get the setup that time, but I also wasn't counting very well because I was talking. Oops. I can play this game pretty decently while also talking, but there are some things that I will mess up just because they're kind of precise, and I'm not giving the game my 100% full attention. Like when I was grinding for Trident to get a really good time there, optimistically trying to go for a world record, but you know, it's a bit of a bit of a big ask. I was also just talking for lap 1 and 2, even though I'm going like 3,000–4,000 kilometers per hour. Nice MTRS. Alright, next one. So far, I would say that's a pretty good pace. But everything can end at Diamond. Diamond Cup is... it's rough. It's really rough. It's like, hey, it's the final, you know, non-AX track cup. Let's put all the hard tracks here. Except for Serial Gaps. Serial Gaps would have been perfect for Diamond, but they were like, yeah, let's put it in the second cup. Right at the end, so if you die in Grand Prix, good luck starting over. Yeah, Serial Gaps is really the one that stands out from all the other tracks. Like, to unlock Diamond Cup, I believe you have to beat the first 3 cups on Expert, so at that point you're pretty good. So the game's just like, yeah, give it to them, they can handle it. So it's a very cool thing you can do at the start of the lap. You can do it on lap 1, but it's super precise. You shouldn't go for it in a marathon. But I'm hoping... okay. I'm hoping to at least get it on lap 2. Shouldn't be too hard on lap 2. Oop, oh. Okay. I was trying to slow down there, because if you go too slow, you won't make it. And I didn't think I had enough speed to make it, so I slowed down, but I didn't stop in time. So, that was fun. Hope you like this track. I kinda do. It's cool. And it's a Gallant track. I'm biased towards liking tracks where Gallant Star is the best option. If you have any questions, let me know. I think I've explained everything that I wanted to explain. I'm not sure why I did that. But yeah, if there's anything still unclear or if you missed an explanation, feel free to ask. This part of the track is weird. It's like a weird corkscrew. You can get a shift boost if you side attack right, or you can just slide into the wall. You know, also an option. Barely clipped the wall. I'm just gonna not go for that strat. We've spent enough time here. We need to spend a lot of time on the next cup instead. I've never done an MTS there. I was just trying to be fancy. Did not work out. Anyway. Let's try to finish this. I really love this part of the track. But like just doing that MTS shortcut right there is already nice. On boost laps you can get an even bigger one, which hopefully I'll get to show off. So yeah, TS chaining is just a lot safer right there. Because you don't press the accelerator to mess with your momentum. It's kind of nice. Right, I almost went for the shortcut again. But instead, let's just finish this. Oh, that was not an MTS. Okay, well, we're fine. Oh, getting very close to the wall right there. So the thing about Gallon Star is that it has pretty strong grip, which, ooh, makes MTS chaining kind of hard sometimes. Like, in between MTSs you might regain your grip and you're just kind of sitting there looking sad. That's the cool shortcut, right there. Just skip that whole first platform. It's kind of hard to do because you need a pretty deep MTS, but if you go too deep you'll just hit the waterfall. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I was going for a suicide finish, but I hit the wall at too sharp of an angle and bounced over instead of bouncing from it. Moving on. You've seen the track. Oh, it's too early? I thought it was just my angle. Anyway, I'm kind of known to do that. I was trying not to. Anyway. I'm using a different vehicle here. It's called Heavy Star. It's absolutely amazing at shift boosting on this track. So in case you didn't see enough shift boost before, here you go. Reminder, each of those can kill me, because if I fall off, then restart the track. I can't snake. I can barely snake on Twist Road, let alone this track. Ooh, that was very dodgy. I want to show you at least one good lap, and then I'll switch to safe strats. I just gotta show it off. This track done well is just the greatest thing, like, ever. Missed that one. Still good enough start. I would take this. And 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, that was actually a double. One of those was a double. I was not prepared. Sometimes when you land back on the track, if you have a slight wobble, you could get a second one. It's unfortunate, because it's actually super fast, but you're not prepared for the fast. The intended strat is still to hit 4,000 kilometers per hour there, just for reference. I'll see if I can do it. If it takes too long, I'll go to safe-ish strats. I just love this track. I want to show it off in all its glory. The struggles of RTA. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. All right. Good enough. Good enough. Let's try to get that one, and then chill until after the dive. Let's only do one there, so we can land before this bump. 1, 2. Okay, I was too far on the left there, and the curvature can make you lift off if you're too fast. I swear, it's not actually that hard to do the 4 after the bump, or after the dive, but... I'm gonna say I'm rusty. Because I am, so it's a valid excuse. That's a double, okay. Let's turn it down a little bit. I've got time, but I don't want to be here all day. And by turn it down a little bit, I mean, we're still gonna go for these first 4, right? Like, you gotta understand that. And then we can do 2 here, 1 more here. Like I said, safe-ish. We're skipping this one. This one can be pretty janky. Gotta go fast. Dang right. 3,000. That's very humble. Hitting the wall. That's very unfortunate. Alright. Let's proceed. So we're gonna play it safe here. Not after the dive, though. After the dive, we gotta do 4. It's the only way. Like, I'm sorry. Like, why even speedrun if you're not gonna go for 4 after the dive? Okay, that's a double. That'll do. Actually, was that a triple? Nah, it must have been a double. Double shift boosts are just very powerful. Because they're so short after each other, you don't lose speed in between. And the higher speed you're going when you start the shift boost, the more speed you'll gain from it. So double shift boosts are just very strong. Especially there after I already was going pretty fast. So yeah, we're chilling. We're fine. So we land here. 1, 2. Okay, that was painful. One more. One more try, otherwise we're moving on. Don't want to be here all day. That was mistiming on my part. Like, it's so easy to die here. Like, that shift boost is just not hard. I just mistimed it. Anyway. Let's finish the track. Because I want to show you all one cool thing. You see how we're in an elevator right now? The background is like scrolling down because we're moving up to space. At the end of the final lap, you'll see that the elevator actually slows down and stops. Because we have reached our destination. Whatever that may be. Why am I getting these weird after dive shift boosts? I really just was not gonna go for that one. I moved as if I was gonna go for that shift boost, but I was not gonna go for it. So yeah, we're chilling. It's just after the dive you can't not do shift boosts. They're set up so well because it slopes down, which gives you more time to get back onto the track. That's a bit of a weird angle. And that one is just like a simple strafe over the gap. Like, you can't not go for that at least, you know? One more. One more lap. For reference, my PB here is 141, if I'm not mistaken, or 143, if I'm giving myself too much credit. One of those two. I think it's 141. So yeah, I would have been done with all 3 laps by now, like, for a while already. This track can get crazy. Oh, that's going very fast. Alright. That looks very scary. You kind of have to keep yourself under control by doing a very slight strafe, because strafing maintains your grip. Alright. For those who missed it, this is not my main file. My main file is on a memory card. This is not on a memory card. Yeah, this is a virtual memory card because my original memory card with all the replays was corrupted, and I was like, screw it, I'll just start over, you know? So that's why I've got this file that barely has anything unlocked. It was really nice doing that again, just unlocking stuff. And now every time I set, I can have it not use Quickstar, because I don't like using Quickstar. I don't know. So yeah, if you didn't see enough shift boost yet, this is actually where they were first discovered. Because, you know, it sets you up so perfectly, it's actually ridiculous. It's just like, boop, boop, boop. Even the staff boost, shift boost here. They knew about shift boosting, but they didn't know about MT. And without MT, shift boosting is not that ridiculous. It's still good, but it's not that ridiculous. But yeah, with MT you can keep so much speed from one shift boost into the next one. It's amazing. Also yeah, in F-Zero GP Legend there is a track that's shaped after this one. It's called Caterpillar. And then they made a Caterpillar 2, which adds a weird turn. So what you can do there is do a little MTS to get you going fast enough to lift off the track for, once again, a shift boost. Because you have to decelerate there, otherwise you'll die. And the shift boost is a nice way to just get you back up to speed. So theoretically all of these weird corners you could shift boost, but you'll be going so friggin' fast. Good luck controlling it. Some people can. Wouldn't recommend it in an RTA setting. Reminder, if you play on widescreen, that final lap text blocks your view of that shift boost. It's pretty rough. Would not recommend. Ooh. Almost was going too fast there and would have flown off. There we go. So we're almost done with the shift boosting, but not quite. They really just put all the best tracks right after each other. Except for the next one. Next one's not actually that good. But Diamond Cup is the best cup. Fight me. Yes, I'll use Fat Shark. Hesitating for a moment because I like to use Gallant here as well. But Fat Shark is the better option. So the reason this track is not that great is because of undulation. And as the name implies, it goes up and down a lot. Fat Shark is a bit harder to shift boost with. Okay, well, I mean, I'll just get a casual double. No worries. So there's a weird gravity field there. I got into it, so you see what it does. It slows you down. So they put that there to ensure that you do not clip through the track, because the collision on that part of the track is actually like super bad. We try to avoid it so we can not slow way the heck down. And normally we do that with an MTS, like so. And we just land in such a way that we hopefully don't clip through. So that's what it's supposed to look like. Oh, I did not get as much height as I was expecting there. That was weird. So yeah, this part of the track you're just gonna lose a lot of speed. The bumps just absolutely kill you. They can literally kill you. Especially at the end of the track where the bumps are even bigger. They can kind of like bounce you over the rails. It sucks. So there's an MTS you can do here to hit the jump plate at a higher speed. Sometimes the bumps will just kinda frick you up. Yeah, they kinda do. I hope it looks alright, at least. Also, there's just a lot going on that track. It's actually very pretty if you take the time to look at it. All the flames shooting up and cool stuff. So we're going to be using another Gallant variant here, Omega Gauntlet V2. This one is actually used for snaking, normally. But its extra weight is really nice on this track. Because there's a big ol' dive, and heavier is better dive. So, yeah, acceleration at the start is very slow, but that's fine. This thing holds speed very well. And we do another little stall to make sure we only have to do one dive and we don't have to land and do two. Okay. I like to do 2 shift boosts after landing. It's a bit ambitious for a marathon setting, I admit. But, you know. On boost laps I'll only go for 1. Dragon Slope is a great track. Absolutely. So once again, weird slope physics with MTSing. We're just up against that wall without bouncing off of it, which is great. And now we use a boost, but we don't actually hold A to get the boost to be active. While you're in boost state, even if you're not holding A, you decelerate a lot slower. So if you're going like super fast, you actually slow down more from holding A during a boost compared to activating the boost and then emptying. It's kind of hard to do because there's like a 2-frame delay, I believe, where if you press A, it takes 2 frames before your engine is on. Ooh, okay. Kind of weird. But yeah, above a certain speed you just don't get the benefit from boosting, because you lose too much speed from holding A, even though you're, you know, in boost state. It's weird, but it's a thing. It's like above 2100 kilometers per hour. Casually, you'll never have to worry about that. Alright. So yeah, good track. Very fast, very fun. On to the next one, which is very difficult. A lot of people also don't like this one. I think it's cool, but it's also jank. Like, it's very easy to just wobble and not actually go fast. I use Gallant. Gallant is technically a very good choice. It's just very hard to make it a good choice. The safe strat here is to use Sonic Phantom. Sonic Phantom is like very well built for making these turns, but it can't do many advanced techniques. So I like to drive into a wall and do side attack turning. Side attack turning is really good because it sets you up for this dive, which sets you up for a second dive, which I couldn't do because I bonked the wall. Maybe next lap. So now Gallant is actually not that great because it's very hard to maneuver through these very tiny turns. You'll also see my machine wobble a bit, and that's because the collision in between these two strips is actually kind of weird. So Gallant making it good on this track is really about getting that first dive, getting the second dive from it, and then just not being bad. Dang, okay. So that's the thing, you kind of like lift off at the peak of that turn, and then land at that downslope. That's what we want to do, but it's not easy. Not easy at all. Oop. Okay. Nice lane change. You can also do some MTSing if you do it at the right parts and if you execute it well. It's just extremely difficult to do so. Because you really don't have a lot of space to work with. Also the weird wobble does not help. If you play this track in Grand Prix mode, yeah. Oh, okay. We're alive. So it looks like you could just land behind the finish line and finish a lap, right? Well, no. Checkpoint system says that's not allowed. Because you're skipping like the entire track and it's way too much. So you'll explode upon landing, or if you land after the finish line, you'll just get back to the start of the lap that you're currently on. If you land exactly on the finish line checkpoint, then it'll give it to you. But that's not allowed in this category, because we don't want this to be the major skips category. There we go, perfect, that's what you want. And now you're going fast, so if you kept that speed, you could MTS here, it's wonderful. Very, very hard. But yeah, the CPU racers do some crazy stuff on this turn. They actually can turn sharper than humans can. So they can lift off there and... oh, that's great. Okay, let's say we finish that track. Oh yeah. Next one. Rail slides on that track suck because of the way the road moves. It's dumb. It's very dumb. Just wobbled over the rail. So yeah, we're on to the final cut. We definitely finished every track before this. Normal pizza, normal normal people would do use quick start here, because there's a thing here known as a super suicide finish. This one in particular is known as the pizza finish. That's why I just said that. That did not come out of nowhere. This comes from one of the GDQ runs where I believe it was AKC was offered pizza if he hit it first try. Wow, I fricked it up really badly. Yeah, anyway, pizza. It's not that hard to do with quick start because it's very light. You can just launch yourself off the wall. I'm gonna try to do the pizza skip or the pizza finish. This is not a lot of speed to start with. Oh, hey. So that's kind of it. You can do it way better, but that works. That gets the job done. This thing is heavy. I'm very glad I made it, even if it was scuffed as all heck. Yeah, if you use quick start, you just launch yourself way forward. It's amazing. Yeah, Quickstar is just very good at MTSing. Like, it gets a lot of speed from MTSing, and then it's also light, so it's amazing for just launching yourself like that. Anyway, that was pizza. Let's move on. So yeah, this is outer space. It's the only time outer space is ever used as a venue, and that's sad because it's cool as fuck. Like, if you just look at this, you know, all these meteors flying around Earth, presumably, below you. It's very cool. The track is also fun, but it's also very inconsistent. There's a lot of shift boosts you can do in the cylinders. So if I exit this MTS just right, that almost worked. Outer Space is my favorite venue. I don't think Cosmo Terminal is that interesting. I just love Trident as a track. Right there, MTS into shift boost. If you go fast enough, that little hump can barely send you into the air for a shift boost. The faster you're going, the more left you need to be, because it's more shallow. Because otherwise you'll just be in the air for way too long. It's a very important consideration. I have too much energy for suicide finish, so we'll just do that. You're right, can you ever move on from pizza? Maybe not. Maybe that's not a thing. Maybe we just cursed or blessed this marathon with pizza for the rest of its duration. I should drink, actually. Whenever I have time. It's hard to find time to drink. Stay hydrated. So yeah, here's another cylinder, but like slightly flat. It's called Cylinder Wave. It's also pretty wavy. They were very good at naming these tracks. That was a hot shift boost. That was not set up. That just kind of happened. Very cool. That's the nice thing about this game. Like, if you just play for long enough, stuff will just happen to you. Speaking of shift boost, here's a squeeze shift boost. Except not really. Man, that's unfortunate. That's... If you squeeze yourself in between there, it'll usually give you a double shift boost because of collision being weird. Unfortunate. So we tried to hit as many of these boosters as possible, while also trying not to fly off, because, as I've said before, downslopes can send you flying up the track if you go too fast. And what is a cylinder if not just a ton of downslopes? I kinda wanna show the squeeze shift boost on the final lap. It's too cool not to show. Wouldn't lose much time compared to the right path anyway. If any. Kinda janky right there. Definitely want to hit this big regen, because otherwise we run out of energy. Alright, so we're actually gonna emulate lap 1 circumstances. Wow, that's usually very consistent. Surprisingly so, because it doesn't look like it should be consistent, but it kind of is. And hit the target. Yeah, snaking on cylinders is hard as heck. On this track it's a bit easier. Except for the parts where it's still just a circle and thin. Yo, shoutouts to Pineapple Pizza, it's great. And there go all the viewers. But I stand by it, I like Hawaiian pizza. It's like the best way to get the internet riled up about anything. Just talk about what does and doesn't go on pizza. I strongly believe put whatever you want on pizza. Although I might judge you a bit for putting, like, kiwi on it. Or banana. Which, yes, are real things. So So yeah, this track is very big, so we can do a lot of MTS chaining very easily. It's great. Yeah, this track is fantastic for Gallant. It usually kind of struggles to MTS chain because of its strong grip. But it has so much space here, it's really actually very nice. Also has a side attack dive, has an MTS to shift boost, it has bump shift boosts. The last ones are not actually that great. But yeah, it's a really cool track. Also pretty lengthy. Almost a shift boost. If you're wondering why they're called shift boosts, that's because it was found on Sand Ocean Lateral Shift. Fun fact. I think back in the day, like game FAQs called it lateral shifting, but that doesn't really make sense when you apply it to other tracks. Okay, so what I did there was like half an MTS to set up my angle, to manipulate my gravity to let me just float there, and skip that first turn. Yike. Yeah, you can actually do a lot with gravity manipulation. So here we just drive and boost, and we pray for a shift boost, like right there. Wonderful. If you can't tell when I get one, it's like there's smoke particles under my machine, and also suddenly speed. Between those two things, you can usually tell that you got one. Okay. Gonna save my energy so I can... Oh, missed that booster. Not great. Because there is a better way to do that jump, but kinda screwed it up. Very thin path, which is hard to control with Gallant, because it doesn't have very strong stick steering. Okay. That's a really, really satisfying setup for an MTRS here. Because the way this track curves right here, lets you just perfectly approach it for going all the way straight. It's amazing. Didn't get step 3. That's pretty unfortunate. Alright, so we have 2 tracks left. One long one, one short one. Yeah, this is the longest track in the game. It's alright. Zana, if you're still here, do you mind if I show off snaking and space flying after this? Actually, I don't have anything set up for space flying, but I can quickly do that. I think that would be cool. Or if we have to move on, that's also fair. Alright, so there's a shortcut you can do here, which is kinda tricky. Because you have to hit an invisible checkpoint and land in a very specific spot so you don't go too far either. I should be done in 5 minutes, really. Like, my estimate was 1:30 because it included the donation incentive for the task showcase, but I don't have that set up. Donation incentive didn't end up being a thing, so I'll just do a quick snaking and space flying showcase. Man. I like this track a lot more on boost laps. It makes it flow a lot better. Heck yeah. Okay. So yeah, that wall didn't actually slow me down. Rails don't inherently really slow you down. It's pretty great. Okay, sometimes weird stuff happens when you try to MTS chain with Gallant. Not gonna go for a shortcut again. It is still faster to do on boost apps, but a bit harder to set up and not as worth it, and it's not trivial. It's really... It can definitely go wrong. Ooh, okay. That was cool. Sorry, here I take the outside to get more energy regen. If we go fast enough, we can get a shift boost there, which then sets us up for spiral skip. Oh, okay then. That's cool. That's very cool. So I wobbled and got a shift boost, and the wall didn't do a very good job stopping me. This game is kind of weird sometimes. And that's kind of why I love it so much. Yeah, wall's not doing their job, SMH. Saying SMH instead of actually S'ing my H. It happens. I do that like way too much. Corkscrews are kind of weird. Yeah, we'll be fine. Just gotta finish this track. I shouldn't die again. And then I'll start with snaking on Twist Road to show you how ridiculous it is. I'll also show you my hands during it. Whoa, okay. Interesting. It's pretty intense. That actually flowed very well. Usually MTSing there is kind of janky. That was just very good. Oh, okay. You can skip that first platform if you get a good launch, but launching yourself off of cylinders is very, very weird. Wasn't going fast enough for the shift boost, that's unfortunate. Alright, let's not get screwed over by the wall again. That was not the best use of my time. I'd rather spend those 2 minutes grinding tridents instead. This is one of my weaker tracks. You can get Sep 3 here not pretty easily, but if you're good at this track, you can get it very easily. With Quickstar, and Fat Shark can even do it, which still blows my mind. Wow. Okay. Focus. Focus. It's not happening. That's a janky MTS. It's got like weird upslope physics, but also not quite. Man. Alright. I don't know why I'm so consistently grinding that rail there. That never used to be a thing. Anyway. Ooh, that's a good rail slide. Reminder to stretch your hands. Gosh dang. Alright, one more track and then it'll be time, and then I'll just do a quick snaking showcase because we really don't have that much time. Because I believe my estimate for this was 130. Alright, if you were paying attention, you'll have seen that there's one vehicle that I didn't use yet. It's Hardbanger. It bangs hard. It's great. So this is the best machine you can, or the heaviest machine you can make without the special parts from events in Japan. It's heavy, it's slow, it doesn't turn well. I kind of just have to side attack turn everything. That's not entirely true. It does turn pretty decently at high speeds, but normal speeds, nah. Good luck getting this thing to move. That's what happens when you try to MTS with it. Pretty epic. Alright, final lap. So this is actually the first track at F-Zero AX, but they made it a bonus track here. Woo! Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Not the best run, but I hope you enjoyed. It's a very cool game. Very fast, very skillful. A lot of cool stuff you can do. So at least I hope I managed to show that off pretty well, because I really love this game. It's great. I wish more people would give it a try. It looks very intimidating. It kind of is, but you can start off wherever you want, really. You don't have to start off doing MTS chaining and all that crazy stuff. You just play the game. Use Fat Shark. Fat Shark is good. You can also start off with snaking, if that's what you like. Hang on, let me make sure this is on camera. We go fast. So as you can imagine, doing that for extended periods of time, especially when you have to do it faster, can get pretty rough. It is fast though, so it's cool if you're very good at it. I'm not. I never really learned how to do it well. But it is fast. So that's a big track. That's a track where you have space to kind of move back and forth. There's also thinner tracks or cylinder tracks, and there you have to go left and right like super fast. It hurts. Would not recommend. Anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of options. You can also spacefly, if that's what you're into. Don't have time to show that off right now. But yeah, that's snaking. 43 seconds, that's like 15 seconds faster than I did previously. Check out some runs. Go check out F-Zero Central. Look at some videos, and just, give the game a try. Don't be intimidated. Just play the game. You don't need to be born as an F-Zero speedrunner. You can become one, Just do it. It's fun. Community is also super helpful, so would recommend. So yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Up next we have something else. I don't have the schedule ready to go. I do. Zone of the Enders 1 and 2. And then it's me again, with Golden Sun. Something completely different. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of the marathon, and I'll see you all later.